Okay, great. In this video, I'm going to show you how to ethically spy on other writers to start understanding what's working at the time being on Medium. So the first thing is you want to educate the algorithm on things that you are writing about. So I really want to emphasize the thing right here because there are two things. Number one, there are things that you are reading as a personal interest. And number two, there are things that you are writing about. So I intensively talked about that in my different note-taking courses, emails, etc., where I'm telling you that if you are only reading things that are popular in your specific niche or market, you are going to end up to simply rehashing the same ideas. So this is obviously not what you want to do. On the other side, you want to know what's working in your market. So how do you actually do this? So the first thing is that if you actually want to read on Medium, then I would recommend you to simply perhaps set up a second account where you're actually just reading about your topics of interest. Or number two is that you can keep the same account, but you really want to educate your algorithm still on the fact that you want to get recommended stories that are working in your specific industry, right? So let me show you how to do this. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're simply going to head over on Medium and you're going to click the plus sign right here, or perhaps if you don't have an account, when you start creating an account, they're going to ask you to simply follow some specific things. So in my case, I'm going to follow everything related to solopreneur, marketing, right? So based on my reading history, it already has some specific things that it recommends, right? So as an example, AI, digital marketing, what else do we have? Perhaps note-taking, content marketing, knowledge management, certainly also something that I'm tackling, etc., right? So perhaps also writing tips, right? So the thing is that I'm going to simply start to educating the algorithm like that. And once I see something interesting or not interesting, then I can simply click the minus sign and actually show less content like this. And this will then help Medium suggest content based on my industry. So the reason why I want to do this is because I want to get what's called the Medium Weekly Digest. So what is this? So basically, if you head over to settings and head over to notifications, you see that Medium actually pushes out a kind of a roundup of things that are working well. And I actually like getting these emails because it's actually curating stuff for me so that I know exactly, well, this is an article that performs well, right? So I've created a special label in my inbox where I'm simply putting all the weekly digests into a specific folder, and I can then spy on those articles. So as an example, I can just open this, and as you can see, I have like today's highlights, right? And it actually gives me specific articles that are actually working right now. And my bet is if I'm going to click on those articles, there are articles that performed pretty well. So as you can see, this one, not that much in terms of collapse, etc. But this is, I think, sometimes you're going to get some kind of weird recommendations, but as you can see, this is kind of a short form. It has already 600 claps in just a few days. And I'm not saying that all will be spot on, but as you can see, this one is certainly something, is an article that actually worked, right? So this is something that you kind of want to reverse engineer, understanding, okay, what's actually happening right here? Why did this article blow up? Same for this right here, right? And over time, you're going actually to get a feeling and a sense of, okay, these are the things that people are interested in. So as an example, the how to start your own mini newsletter, this step-by-step guide could be an interesting thing to actually write about, right? So you're simply going to spy every week, and I like to So there are actually two types of daily of digests, right? So you have the daily and you have the weekly. I like to get the weekly simply because it just adds another level of curation to the equation, right? So if, let's say, you want to get the daily, you can certainly do that. The problem is that, well, you have then to curate all the stuff by yourself. As you can see, when it's on a weekly basis, it's pretty simple. You have around 10 articles, right? Those are like cherry picked. But like if you're getting the daily digest, then you're going to get more and more and more. And the thing is that you might get overwhelmed by that. So all this to say that you want to keep an eye on the topics that are hot in your market, not to necessarily copycat this. So as an example, I don't need to read the article. I know that, well, this is something people are interested in. So I'm probably going to write about that, right? Same thing of a topic like this. So as you can see, I've been running a website as a side hustle for 3 years. Here's what works. So from the headline, I know, like, okay, I can craft something kind of similar, right? So this will give you a strong sense of what's actually working, as I told you, in your niche, so that you always keep an eye on the things that are working so that you can then create your own version of it. So hope that this was helpful, and I see you in the next lesson.